Hello, this is Mrs. Jacobs. I'll be looking at GOMath, Grade 4, Chapter 2, Lesson 2.5. The teaching point is I can multiply a two-digit number by a one-digit number using the distributive property, which is standard 4.NBT.5. So looking back at the teaching point, we are today only going to be multiplying a two-digit number by a one-digit number. So one of the factors will have a two digits and the other factor will be a one digit. Okay, so we will be using the strategy that we know as the distributive property. This was taught back in third grade with a one digit by a one digit. So we're going to see how we can take that and we're going to apply it to fourth grade. So let's just take this word distributive. It comes from the word distribute, which means to give out. The definition below that I'm about to read to you does sound confusing, but I promise when you see some examples, it's much easier to do than to memorize the definition. So the distributive property lets you multiply a sum by multiplying each addend separately and then add the products. So we're going to take a look at that. Let's take a look at some examples to see how the distributive property works. So first I'm going to start with a two-digit factor by a one-digit factor. So I'm going to be working with 5 times 25. Okay, and this is how the distributive property works. First, we are going to look at the 25 and we're going to go back to chapter 1 where we learned expanded form, and I'm going to go ahead and put 25 in expanded form. So I'm going to keep this one-digit factor. I'm also keeping my multiplication symbol. But what I'm going to do inside these parentheses is I'm going to put 25 in expanded form. And that is 20 plus 5. Okay, so that's the first step. Then I'm actually going to do the distributive part, which is distribute this 5 to the 20 and the 5. And this is how we do it. First, I'm going to distribute the 5 to the 20, and this is how I do it. 5 times 20. So 5 times 20. And I write that as soon as I distribute it. I'm going to write it down. So 5 times 20. Then I'm going to add in 5, and now I'm going to distribute it to this 5. So it's 5 times 5. Okay, so now I distribute it 5 times 5. So now I have two separate products because I did 5 times 20, and then I did 5 times 5. Now this will help me to get to the product. And using my basic facts and patterns, right, of zeros, I can now solve what 5 times 20 is. So 5 times 2 is 10, and my 1 0 makes it 100. And then I'm adding now what 5 times 5 is, and that's 25. So now I have two products. I have a product of 100 and a product of 25, and the last step is to take those two products and add them together. So off to the side, I'm going to add 100 plus 25, and I get a product of 125. So 5 times 25 equals 125. Okay, so we're going to do another one together. Okay, still a 2-digit by a 1-digit. And I'm going to work with, let's say, 3 times 67. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm going to keep the 3 and the times, but now I'm going to do the 67 in expanded form. So in my parentheses, I'm going to put 60 plus 7. Okay. Now that I put the 67 in expanded form, I can now distribute the 3. How we're going to do that is we're going to do 3 times 60, then 3 times 7. All right, so I'm going to go first, 3 times 60. I'm going to write that down. And I'm adding in my other distributive parts, which is 3 times 7. 3 times 7. So now I have 2 separate parts. So now I'm going to do 3 times 60, which is 180. 3 times 7 is 21. Now again, I have to add those 2 products, 180 and 21. Is 201. So 3 times 67 is 201. Okay, I will show you one more example. Okay, let's do 9 times 56. Okay, 9 stays, multiplication symbol, getting ready for expanded form. Now I'm going to distribute my 9 to the 50, then the 9 to the 6. So 9 times 50, 9 times 50. Add in the other distributive part, 9 times 6. 9 times 6. And I get 450 is this product. And 9 times 6 is 54 on this end. So I have a product of 450 and 54. My last step is to add those 2 products together. Make sure we're lining those numbers up correctly. And I get a product of 504. This is how we multiply using the distributive property. So I'm going to ask you to get ready to try some on your own. So directions, multiply using the distributive property. So I would like you to answer number 1, 2, and 3 in your math notebook, and you are solving it using the distributive property. Remember, you can always rewind this video and pause it at any time. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow in class.